All right, outdoors. This is a longer list. So we go outdoors. Typically, in many cases, we're trying to enjoy nature at some level. And it obviously gets us closer to nature. Meals are frequently taken outdoors. This is a place for family recreation. I don't know, it could be playing croquet or badminton or other ways to hang out outdoors. Parties certainly are leveraging the outdoor spaces, exercise and sport. More and more media viewing outdoors, and that's getting better, the technologies to do that. Reading, studying, work from home too. I think this is a place, we've got those defined. We're going to talk a lot about work from home tomorrow or later today, but and we've got those defined interior spaces or multi-purpose spaces within the interior, but sometimes folks want to get outside and do some of their working there, maybe not for video conferencing purposes, but for the solitary work sort of stuff. So the tech enhancements that go with that across the board. So getting Wi-Fi out there is important. High quality Wi-Fi. You don't want to be reaching for a signal outdoors if it's going to be accessed for a computer or for streaming sources on AV. If we're going to have these electronics and electrical devices outside, we obviously need to get power there in a safe and high quality way. There are specialized versions of AV equipment. And there's a heavy load on the audio to fill up the outdoor space and really provide fullness of sound. And the video has a lot of reflections and sunlight and such to fight. So there's specialized elements on the video displays and the mounting and the preservation of that equipment. Outdoor lighting for evening type applications, and obviously the pool can be integrated with lighting and automation, and I think presenting AV and lighting. I mean, there's some hams out there, and whether they're not singing or not, and not all of us can sing like some people on the stage, but there's a lot of Irish who love to toast, and they want that to be a dramatic thing, and sometimes putting a mic, and I think more and more so, putting a mic in somebody's hands and giving them some amplification creates special moments, and outdoors is a place where that happens. So that's the conceptual stuff I came up with on the tech side of things. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you've got it. When done right, again, technology outside can just enhance that experience. We don't want to take away from the beautiful outdoors, but if you are going to be enjoying it, but then also enjoying the staples of your life, you still want to gain access to your media. You still want to spend time outside, but perhaps just watch a movie with everyone. It should not detract from the beauty of outside, but just make that outdoor living space something that can be comfortably done, and again, without interruption. When done right, like you said, you don't want to have to stop what you're doing, spending time with the family, to have to go change this or adjust that. It should be done so that it just creates this experience for you to enjoy.
Any questions or comments before we get to some more specific stuff on this? Okay, Joanne, I'm handing the magic wand to you. And before she kicks off on this, I just Crestron has so many assets that she's going to walk through a lot of photos, and this is just a tiny fraction of what you have. But I was talking to Joanne before, and it's like the idea of these sessions is idea book, right? And sometimes we forget that the manufacturer can be a source of ideas because we're working so closely with our trade partner integrators. And they may be great at doing the integration work, but not have as vast a storehouse of images and knowledge of applications from around the world like Crestron does. So I think one thing to keep in mind is as we walk through this stuff, there's more where that came from. And I talked to Joanne, and it's something that they're certainly willing to do at that ideation phase, right? When we were talking about the early design and consultation, at this ideation phase, to put some visuals in front of people and explain some of these applications with a wow architectural digest type picture or a video can really stimulate the imagination. So I want you to keep that in mind as Joanne walks through these stories.
Yeah, definitely. And these are just some of the examples. Like I said, we have over 500 dealers just within the U.S. So these are some examples of luxury within these specific areas. And luxury is going to look different, in all different areas. So if you see inspiration here, perhaps you want to go through it more and explore it a little bit more, definitely reach out, because again, these are just some of the examples of what we can do, but we can actually run the full gamut. And again, luxury can look different within different regions. So these are just some ideas, but we have a lot more ideas for us to inspire you, to inspire your clients with.
Yep.
So our first example is the Shapiro residence. This was a client that is actually part of our design build program with Crestron. So this is a dealer that, this is a builder who typically will integrate Crestron into their designs. Now, after a few years of this developer finally had the opportunity to integrate Crestron into their own home. So they had a lot of experience with Crestron already. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. So this is some of what we came up with Mr. Shapiro. So we have the patio space. We're looking at the great outdoors now. The patio space includes an outdoor grill that opens up to the kitchen and dining area, featuring a retractable screen. So this is, again, that example of outdoor living. They can actually cook, they can dine out there, and then they can be entertained out there. They have the retractable screens, a TV, an immersive sound system with 360-degree speakers. So again, really just creating that experience, really enveloping that family in this technology in a really great and beautiful way, so that it's not taking away from, as you can see, that really beautiful scenery that they have there. The backyard, they feature a view that overlooks 3 levels of patio space. So you can imagine there is a lot of space and a lot of canvas that we can work with out there as far as the outdoor living. They have a concrete ping pong table and a putting green. So you're seeing some of that recreational time that they can spend out there. And again, you can imagine some of the different elements that we can integrate there. As far as lighting, properly lighting a putting green, a ping pong table, adding those audio elements within those spaces to really keep people playing out there, no matter what time of the day it is or approaching the evening hours. We have audio integrated along a 1/4-mile walking path, which surrounds the pool. Again, a huge canvas that we had, and it was a really great experience, especially with this builder who really, he gained a lot of understanding on the technology side, and of course is a pro on the builder and the developer side. So it's a 1/4-mile path, and that surrounds the pool, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, a fire pit, and pool and spa control and the fire pit are both controlled with Crestron. So as you're talking about this whole home, this whole outdoor living experience, all of those are integrated into one space. So as we're talking about the simplicity of the technology, having it on one app, all of that is included.
So the retractable screens are motorized?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, so the retractable screens, I don't know if we're gonna see one here. I think that we do see the larger one in their space.
So I think we're seeing a lot of the motorized screens and motorized windows as well. I mean, are we starting
Window
to see
coverings, yeah.
Are you all, is anyone doing anything with motorized windows? I think you're doing something, yeah. Right. Yeah, we had In Motion, Caldwell Manufacturing, doing events with us, and then I think their timing was just wrong, because it seems like since COVID, since this whole outdoor integration became a big deal, the window motorization and the screen motorization has become a big deal. But I think that's one of those wow effects, and it tends to toggle gathering spaces like the great room, and certainly the kitchen and the outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see a lot of that. So that the retractable, we'll see a great example of that where the client wanted to be able to enjoy that media, but then there's a stealth mode so that it would completely be, hidden and camouflaged. So there's great ways to do that with technology now. So as far as here, the outdoor sensors, there's a pathway for guests at night. And again, it's a 1/4 mile walking path. So you would imagine to be able to access that at any time of the day, doing that safely was a huge benefit for this family. They're a great family that loves to entertain, as you'll see evidenced within this space. They wanted to be able to do that everywhere. When we talk about a great term that we use is entertainment everywhere. We're not just relegated to certain spaces. It can actually happen within the entire space when you distribute that audio and your video throughout your entire property, not just one room, not just inside, but your entire space that you have access to. So you'll see here, again, a great gathering space here. This is the outdoor grill that they have, which will go into a dining area. It's great, you know, as we see in the indoor kitchens, right? It's become a hub. So as one is preparing dinner, a lot of times the guests, the family, they're hanging out right there with them as they're preparing that food. So it does become that hub of conversation about gathering and all of that, and the outdoors is no exception here. This is one of those amazing screens. I think that this is 133 inches here, and this is their outdoor screen. And just to let you know, so this is Kansas City, Missouri. So again, you know, luxury is going to look different in different spaces. Missouri, they're not, you know, it's not Phoenix where you're going to have beautiful weather all day. So they did take precautions to weatherize all of these spaces, especially the technology. So this is a rear projection screen. So obviously, you know, there's not going to be somewhere where we can mount and power a screen for front projection here. So a lot of time was taken to plan that out so that we have that projection screen out there so that they can be entertained from in the pool, from anywhere within that space, so that they can just continue that, that entertaining, that gathering time that they have together. This is another shot of that, as well as some of the fire pit features here. Again, fire pit, pool and spa control, and also the audio and the video that you'll see here. There's a lot of technology here, but it doesn't have to overwhelm this space. You don't see the interruption in the architecture to be able to include any of that technology, any of the power, any of that. So this is a great example of how you can integrate technology without interrupting that design. But it does take a lot of careful planning. You can imagine what kind of power, what kind of data has to be run strategically within these spaces.
How do you integrate with the fire pit? It's a gas fire pit, I assume, but does it have a control protocol that you tie into, or is it a dry contact, or what?
We have the control protocols. That's something that we do with fireplaces, with the outdoor fire pits. So a lot of our CSPs, our programmers, they can do basically anything. So whether it's the dry contact or the regulatory for the gas and the passive, they're going to be able to do that. So we have a lot of, and we'll talk about one of the platforms that we have now. It's called Crestron Home, where it is standardized, but you have a lot of these customized features that we add on as extensions to that platform.
So these more unusually controlled devices like this, I mean, do you have to write drivers for that stuff? And I mean, you guys have done so many broad-based integrations like this. You've probably written more drivers for these specialized things to control than the average control platform out there, right?
We have, I mean, so just to get into a little bit of the background. So historically, Crestron had been known for custom programming, and it was known as a bear. So everything was just, you know, it was just from scratch programming. So now we have this configuration-based platform, but like you said, with these certified drivers that we or our certified service providers throughout the country are able to write. Our engineers test these protocols within our interface so that we put that stamp of approval. We make it available to all of our dealers out there. So, you know, so if Joe in Montana writes it and then Will in Florida needs it, he has access to that. He doesn't have to reinvent that wheel.
Cool. And you catalog that stuff where you've got existing drivers, and that could be shared with the builder so that they understand which manufacturers of some of these other devices might, or their trade partners would understand whether that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the way that it's cataloged, we do have a catalog so that if you in the building community just express an interest in something, our certified service providers would be able to look that up within our library and see, yes, this has been, this was created at this time, this has been used by this many people. So it shows that kind of that, again, that stamp of approval, and then that usage that's been successful.
So basically, anything that you want to control that you think would be cool to control, and this is how you create wow factors for your luxury clients. You know, you can ask, and Joanne might be able to tell you there's 5 versions of that exotic product that, you know, we've already written drivers for and can control.
Yeah, exactly.